Hello, my name is Kafi D'Ambrosi, and if you hear that music, you know what time it is. It means everything is working out for you. And it is the Kafi plus Studio podcast. We talk about Web3, the metaverse, music, business, marketing, and more. Welcome, Kym Lam Sam. Woo!
Thank you, Kafi, for the great intro. I love the music.
That is
Just
by
get down with the vibe.
my metaverse Web3 consistent co-host, Ruler in Peace. He wrote that for me, and I love
And
it.
I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't expecting such a
I
vibe.
know. I know we got vibes. We got music galore. We do.
Yeah,
We got all
I
the
dig it.
music.
I dig it.
Do you need music underneath to give you a we have Kafi also written by Ruler and Peace. It gives
Well, look,
let's
yeah,
see. Do you need some music under your
I
talk?
would like to listen to it separately because I don't think my
Okay.
brain can handle too much
Because
stuff.
it's
We spoke about this before.
it's very much like it
Okay,
that
hit me with
vibe.
it.
I
Hit me with
okay,
it.
yeah, all right. He writes it for the person. So it's who the person is and I give it. It's called Kafi's Kafi. Because I don't give up.
You know what? It's like when you get into that hyper focus mode.
Yeah.
It's like this is it. I've just reached.
I'm always climbing that mountain.
Yeah.
Sometimes I fall down, but I always get back up. That's how it is in the metaverse. I'm like, what?
Yeah. I dig it, man. Yeah, when I'm working and it's just me, I can zone out to music. But if I'm trying to have a conversation, I'm like, everybody shut up. Everything quiet. I can't think. My brain just cannot do it.
I often am bossy and will take control of a room or an emergency situation
Yeah.
so I can clear my own head.
Yeah.
Like, oh, emergency? Someone's had a stroke? No problem.
Hmm.
I find, why don't, first of all, let's reset. Hello, my name is Kafi D'Ambrosi. We've been talking for a while.
Yeah.
My name is Kafi D'Ambrosi. I am your host. This is Kafi Plus Studio Podcast. We talk about Web3, the metaverse. We talk about art, NFTs, business, marketing, music, and more. And welcome to my guest, Kym Lam Sam, aka Uncle Bim Bim. He has a fantastic project, Got Jitters, focusing on ADHD, and he's a brand marketer. And so we have much in common. We could be related. We don't know. We're diving into it. He looks like my family, and
Yeah.
we might be cousins. So we'll discuss that at a different podcast to be revealed in 2023.
Yeah, indeed.
It's called Finding Family.
I love it.
Welcome,
Yeah.
welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for saying yes. I'm so surprised that everyone says yes. I'm like, hi, come on my podcast.
Oh well,
They're
I
like,
mean,
of
come on,
course.
you're stroking people's egos here, so it's an easy yes.
Fantastic. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us about your project and what it's about.
Yeah, I've my background is I started as a graphic designer and an illustrator, so I've just comic books like just I
Amazing.
I've got a collection of comic books and I like a big collection, but I maybe read two. I never I never actually read them. I just look at the pictures, and I've done that since I was a kid. I was just fascinated with the artwork and the level of detail that went into these things. But I didn't really care so much for the narrative or anything. I was just fascinated with the artwork.
I'm
I cared
clutching
about
my invisible pearls.
I, I care about narratives in a different sense, but I fell in love with art very, very young. So I drew a lot, but yeah, from graphic design and moved into more strategic work after I sort of hit the creative director role. I wanted to do something a little bit more strategic and understand business a bit better.
Hmm.
As if so, once I got into brand strategy, a lot of cool consultants opportunities opened up for me, and learned a lot about business and really just how branding and marketing can help a business, connect their message to a group of people, I guess. And yeah, as got into the NFT space for the art. My brother-in-law was like, "Man, look at all these cool things. This is the technology." Uh, and as a comic book collector, vinyl record collector, sneaker collector, like this is just right down my alley. It just
Right.
speaks to me in so many different ways. Then you add the art and stuff on top of that. Um, so Web3 NFTs was just feels like it was made for me. I feel at home in the space. Very introverted, very very introverted. So I sitting at home on my computer is suits me just fine.
Introverts unite
Yeah,
together,
for
but
real.
separately at your
Yeah,
own home,
yeah,
quietly, in
yeah.
a vacuum of
It,
silence,
at a time that I choose.
at a time that
Yeah,
I
yeah,
choose. And
yeah,
I'm probably not going to let you know, and I'll probably cancel on you.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
I care about you deeply,
Yeah,
but will not express my feelings. Thank
yeah,
you
I
so
do
much.
love you. I just remember I do love you. Just
But I will not express it verbally.
yeah, yeah.
In
So
action only, maybe.
yeah, yeah. So it was the Web3 space was just really great for me to get involved in, and I've always wanted to do a project. Like naturally, as soon as I saw everyone doing the art, I was like, okay, I need to do something for myself, and I started creating this project, and I wanted it to be something that was personal to me. And we were talking earlier. I'd been recently diagnosed with ADHD, and I was thinking about the struggles that I'd gone through, like just not really having anyone to speak to. I tried joining Reddit, and no one responded to my questions on Reddit, and I felt a little alone. Like I was like, oh man, like is this normal how I'm feeling? I've taken this medication and I feel a little bit weird. Is that just me? Was that does everyone else go through that? And no one was responding. I was like, oh man, I feel really alone right now. And I think it was from that feeling that I was like, I think I'd like to unite some people behind this, because if I'm feeling like that, surely some other people feel the same, and that's where the idea came from. So the art was inspired by that, and we're now just in the process of building a small but valuable community.
It's so important, I think. I really believe that this time over the past 2 years has brought mental health to the forefront. And I
Mm,
believe because we have so many women and caregivers, men and women caregivers in this space, that mental health has been kept at the forefront in the Web3 space. Excuse me. My nose always itches during my podcast. In the Web3 space.
mm,
And so we are careful in this space. A lot of us are careful. We do mark people safe as a safe place. And then I believe that it's important that we create a space where we can have mental health because it is easy to be in the metaverse or in Web3 and we get lost in our art because finally we have a space where we can become fully engaged.
mm,
Where we are surrounded by like-minded people where a subgroup of us all have the same goals. And
mm.
so it's freeing, it's liberating, it's exciting. And we can get lost like we haven't been able to get lost before in
Yeah.
our previous work. And so it's important to be able to hold space.
Mm.
And so, have you found, and then often, of course, with ADHD, one of the main tenets of ADHD is often creative people have
Mm.
ADHD. And so, it is common. A lot of women and minorities are diagnosed later because of health disparities. Excuse me one second. Only when I'm doing my podcast does my nose itch. Um, but later we're being diagnosed later in life because of health disparities, because of cultural norms where mental health was not something to be discussed because
Mm.
of trauma, colonization, where you never put your business in the streets, right?
Mm.
That is a cultural norm where everything was handled within the family. Things
Mm.
were not discussed in the streets, as we say,
Mm.
and mental health could not be put in the forefront. We always had that one person in the family who maybe had mental health issues or a child with mental health issues. They were always put on the side, not
Mm.
hidden, but always taken care of by somebody within the family. And it was
Mm.
talked about. And so, what I feel is that we have an opportunity to be open and vulnerable and authentic and
Mm.
realize that it is, why it's considered a disability, the same traits that quote unquote make an artist disabled with ADHD or qualify us for disability also give us that creative edge. And so
Mm.
oftentimes we get diagnosed, and I have ADHD, we get diagnosed, and then we have this fear that we're going to lose our edge.
Mm.
Right. So do we medicate? Do we not medicate? Do we do all the things? What is the approach to
Mm.
creating a health journey? Right.
Mm.
So tell us more about your project.
Essentially, it started off with if I just release an NFT project, what do I want to do with any funds raised? And the first thing was I just want to donate to charity. So big, most of the money is going to go to charity. But from within that is like, what can I do then for people? How do we reunite people? And that really is the journey. And for me, the biggest thing for me is not to try and solve all the answers myself. The biggest thing is to just talk to the people you're trying to serve. Let them tell you what they need. Let them
That
tell you,
part.
yeah. So
That part.
I don't want to assume and say, "Oh, guys, I know the answer." I don't. I'm not a doctor. I'm not educated in ADHD. I've experienced it personally. I feel it emotionally, so I can sympathize with brothers and sisters who are going through that, and I can use whatever skills I've got to bring them together. But then, if that can be a platform to get the right people in to come talk, if it's a safe place for like-minded people to share their struggles, to share their journeys, to share uplifting stories as well, to inspire people
Right.
like, oh wow, I can do that,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because, you know, um, uh, bringing in, for me, the additional part of it, ADHD often comes with a diagnosis of being on the autism spectrum. And
Mm.
I am on the spectrum with Asperger's, high functioning. And so there's a lot of assumptions made,
Mm.
difficulty with public speaking or, just a lot of different things. And I told someone, when you've met one autistic person, you've met one autistic person,
Yeah.
right? And navigating, it's a health journey. So navigating health journey, navigating, you know, a late diagnosis or
Mm.
a later diagnosis, navigating who you tell, how you tell it, how you share your story, how authentic you are. And then now we're on platforms. I've been told, don't share your
Mm.
diagnosis. It's going to hurt your business. You won't be taken seriously. I'm like, well, if people think I'm so amazing, why am I amazing?
Mm.
Right?
Mm. Your
This is
superpower.
It's my superpower, right? I may not be able to recall, the name of the artist and the name of the song, but I can hum a whole list. I can hum a whole DJ list for a wedding reception, and I've done it before as a wedding organizer, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's the reason, and so we face these scenarios where I am comfortable doing a 500-person conference, in the Bahamas, and doing the presentation for the whole company and organizing events and booking the hotels, but my own child's birthday party with 20 kids, ch- chicken, gluten-free chicken nuggets
Yeah.
and french fries and gift bags, complete meltdown. Like, I can't do it. People don't understand that. I'm like, give me the 500 person conference in the Bahamas with lanyards, alphabetized. Give me the bigger, larger task. I can do that. But that little party with adults and children and candy and gift packs, meltdown. The meltdown. And you know what I'm
Yeah,
talking about, right?
yeah, yeah,
So
absolutely.
it's the little things. People don't understand that the lark for me, and especially, it's so funny how Instagram came to the rescue during COVID and the memes, the
Mm,
memes, and a lot of young people turned to TikTok and online therapists to
mm,
help. And just the little nuggets of information. For example, people who've been through trauma can easily adapt to trauma, and
mm,
but it's the little things that completely disroy, yeah, there's an English word, unhinge, or I don't know the American word, like derail you,
mm,
right? So,
mm.
you go down the list. Okay, the mountain is on fire, no problem. Heart attack, I can hit. Stroke, I can recognize a stroke. Fire, house is on fire. If my light goes on for the pressure in my tires, my whole day is
Yeah.
ruined. I'm emotionally bereft.
Yeah,
Do you find
yeah.
that? Do
Oh,
you?
I've got weird things that trigger me for sure, and they're just things that it's hard to. I think it's difficult to articulate to people just outside of your head that
Yeah.
aren't in your head to just say like, I don't know how to explain it, but this is happening, and I need space, or I need to take some
Mhm.
time for myself, and that's actually a big part of the project as well. It's not just the people with ADHD, but it's the people in their lives because everyone is impacted, right? Like my wife was certainly impacted by it. Like she finally got to understand why I behaved a certain way, rather than being like, "Oh, you're so frustrated. Why you do that?" Now she's like, "I get it now. I get why you do that." And even my parents, I love my parents, and they brought my sisters and I up like wonderfully. Um, but just lack of education and misinformation growing up. Like I was born in the islands, and definitely mental health is not something they were talking about back then. So when I'm underperforming or not behaving the way that a child should be, for them it's like, what's going on? And the same thing you and I touched on it earlier, that I'd have people say like, you're smart, you're not a dumb kid, like you've got so much potential, but how come you're not? It's not coming out in class. How come it's not showing? And yeah, it was just even now when I got diagnosed and I'd talk to my parents, I'd be like, this is what I'm going through. They're like, okay, it makes sense, but I'm still struggling to process. So I think there's an opportunity for us to help educate and spread awareness for this, for not just for the people who were diagnosed, but also for people in their lives and around them, to be able to, even if someone who's like, actually, I've got a friend who's like that. Or I've got my daughter's actually like that. Maybe I should check that out a bit. It's just awareness is healthy. And then talking about TikTok and Instagram, when you have people sharing their opinions so liberally, which is great, you it also amplifies the misinformation.
Right.
And if you know, it's crazy. And I've got 4 kids myself, and it's crazy that my kids have grown up in like the most phenomenal technological era ever.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like I think they do assignments and they're like, "Oh, Dad, how do I spell this?" I'm like, "You literally have a personal assistant on your. Just go to Google and type it in, and it'll tell you." Like,
We and then we can bring out those stories. When I was little, I used to
yeah,
have to go
yeah,
to the library,
yeah, yeah,
climb up 2 flights of stairs to the encyclopedia, choose my choice of encyclopedias, and
yeah.
at least know how to spell the first 3 letters of the word. That took 3 hours.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But like for all the access to information that they have, they lack the critical thinking,
Right,
and the ability to research. And so that's actually a problem, I think, with society. And it's just something that I'm a challenge that I'm always faced with my kids is don't believe everything you see on TikTok or Instagram or wherever it is. Like if it's interesting, do a little bit more research, find a few other research, teaching them about how to dive a little bit deeper, how to critically think, and
right,
um and so on that note, when people see a TikTok video which has heaps of likes and lots of views and it's about ADHD, cool, that is now gospel in my head. That is what ADHD is. Whether it really is or it isn't, it's good enough for you. And then you scroll to the next video. And so
right,
we need to I like to just put out as much truth as we can and put it out there to be like as a reference point that if anyone decides to research, at least they've got that information out there. And also with the space, so NFT is such a cool space. It connects with so many different people. Like it's so diverse that it's easier to spread awareness. You can reach so many different walks of life in a very short amount of time. So I think there's a great opportunity for these types of projects to not just for ADHD, but for anything for a really great cause to be able to
right.
connect and spread their message.
Mhm. Yeah, I love it. It's exciting. Well, we've been talking for a while because we did
Mm.
the pre-talk, and I would love to have you come back and maybe bring a guest if you'd like to
Hmm.
talk about your project more, and let's dive deep into it because I think this is something that is key. We have it's October. It's November, excuse me. It's a difficult time for a lot of people.
Mm.
Uh, a lot of challenges as we face the holidays in many different cultures, multiple holidays in the next few months. And, if we can rally and support and spread awareness, I would love to have you back, and I'd love to hear more about your project.
Yeah, I would love to come back and chat more about it. So, thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, folks. So don't forget to join me here, Kafi Plus Studio. We are in Anchor FM /Kafi PLUS Studio. You can find me on Spotify, Apple, Google, Stitcher, and more. And we'll be coming back soon with another juicy episode. I want to thank my guest, Kym Lam Sam, aka Uncle Bim Bim. You can find him across social as Uncle Bim Bim. His project is Got Jitters, and we are looking forward to it. And where is your project? What platform is your project on?
We're thinking of launching it on the Scale Network, actually. Something,
Okay.
something a little bit different, and there is some juicy gossip around that decision, which hopefully when we talk next time, I can reveal what that is.
We're here for it. Coffee Plus Studio would love to be a sponsor.
Oh,
I don't know how.
mate, let's do it.
Let's go, as we say. What do we say? What three? We say, let's
Let's
go.
go.
We're dancing it out. Got jaders? Got
because
jaders.
the show is going.
Bye, everyone.
Thank